This just in, breaking news, our only story tonight. A $10 million bot farm has been discovered on the Winning Poker Network, according to this post on 2plustwo from user Tyler RM. With hundreds of usernames posted and an 8-figure sum won, these allegations are stunning. Today we take a closer look at exactly what's going on over on America's Card Room. On a lighter note, head on down to the lodge for the wacky weekend of poker, February 1st to 4th. We're going to be playing a variety of crazy tournaments. One of the things that's great about Texas poker, we can do kind of whatever we want in terms of format. We got a Deuces Wild tournament, a double board bomb pot tournament, a fun under the gun tournament. You can read more to find out exactly what that is. A forced tag team tournament. You don't get to pick your partner. We got dealer's choice. We got no checking. We got mystery bounty with negative pulls. And we have a tournament with a blood river. Got a couple other in there as well. Should be an awesome weekend. I'm gonna be there every day, so you can stop by, say what's up, hang out. Look, I'm trying to channel. There was something I really enjoyed a few years back. I got to play at Run It Up Reno, something that Jason Somerville used to do. I thought it was incredible, the atmosphere they put together of low stakes buy-ins and people having fun. That's the goal here. So come on by, hang out. Should be a great time, and we're going to play some really stupid games. Moving on. Jumping into our feature story now, let's talk about this bot ring on ACR. Before we do, we'll take a step back and talk about bots in online poker. We have long known that it is likely and oftentimes happening that people are cheating using software to play in games online. The reason is that computers, simply put, are better than people playing poker. There's no doubt about that. We saw that when CMU, the university, played against the Human Resistance and Heads Up No Limit. They lost in the first round, but then ended up winning in the second round, beating the Humans pretty substantially, although they were missing their star player. It was me. The question comes down to, can the site protect you against it? And this is why it is incredibly important to play on websites that take this shit seriously. If you're playing on some random app that lets whatever happen on their app, they're not monitoring it, they don't really care, you're going to get cheated straight up. At this point, guys, at this point in online poker, if you think, oh, it's fine, don't check the games, it's cool, you are going to be beaten by people that are cheating using the software. I'm sorry, I hate to say it. I know it's negative. Hell, you're probably going to get cheated if you play in a lot of private games too. People will do whatever it takes to make money, and more than ever, you need to be smart about where you play and protecting yourself. But let's hone in a little bit more on exactly what happened in this individual instance. America's Card Room has long had allegations of bots playing on its site. In fact, Joe Ingram has had his thoughts on the great game of Pot Limit Omaha. A quick Google search of bots on ACR will show you a ton of different threads and posts and all kinds of things about bots on America's Card Room. So this isn't exactly an entirely new thing. We have had people complaining about this for years. I do think that America's Card Room has tried to fight back and remove bots and ban people and confiscate money, and they have had some success. The question is, have they done enough? And based on this new allegation, certainly seems like the answer is no. America's Card Room has made some steps, and just to highlight some of them, in Pot Limit Omaha, they added in a reshuffle feature to try and avoid the effects of card sharing in Pot Limit Omaha. Mixed feedback on that. It does change the game kind of considerably, but at least something new they're trying to do to protect their games. They've also hired Randy Liu as their ACR security consultant. Now, Randy Liu, if you guys are not familiar with this guy, he is a legend. He used a 24 table mid-stakes, no limit on stars. He was a ruthless battler, but over the last 5-6 years, he's become more of a commentator for Triton, and now also for the last at least few years has been the ACR security consultant. Might need a few meetings after this story. Moving on to the actual bot farm. This happened primarily in multi-table tournaments, according to the user Tyler RM. Below are my findings related to the bots. I do want to put a disclaimer here, and this is one of the things when people come to me with cheating stories that is difficult for me, because we're getting someone posting information online. I can't tell you that it's 100% true, and oftentimes I will be told stories that are not true to try and get me to post them. So this is always difficult when I try to weigh what I decided to come forward and tell you guys at home about. This one seems to pass the test where I feel comfortable putting it out there, but I do have to say this is not confirmed. This is this allegation according to this user. Just a quick caveat I have to put in there. Anyway, this is the graph of the bot farm on Winning Poker Network, which is the network of America's Card Room. You can see there are 1.4 million entries into these tournaments, an average stake of $43, and a sweet $9.6 million of profit for a 14% total ROI over this entire graph. Now, this is a lot of screens, this is a lot of tournaments, and you might ask yourself, well, could there be some people that are not bots put in there? Certainly could be the case, but the volume here is significant enough where this group of people is definitely crushing the games. Although 14% ROI, maybe not crushing the games, maybe beating the games, mildly beating the games. Think about this bot farm, not more like someone like Garrett Adelstein, but rather somebody who's a break-even player on the live shows that plays a lot of volume and doesn't seem to win very much money. Think of it more like a Doug Polk. Cuts deep. Anyway, substantial winnings for sure when you add the fact there is going to be a rake on the website to the fact that there are 14% ROI bots draining your win rate. This could have a significant impact for people playing on America's Card Room. Looking at just this year specifically, or rather last year specifically, we can see there were 425,000 counts for 609K entries for a 13% ROI at very similar statistics. If we look at the cash games, not quite the same amount of success, 1.2 million hands with a total of $166,000. One note on this, there's going to be some pretty significant rake back, I imagine, that goes into this. 218K rake paid, so I don't know what the latest rake back stuff is, but let's just assume that it's a pretty reasonable percentage. And while I have you guys, can I complain about something? Can I go on a little bit of a rant here? I still get DMs asking me which website to play online. I have played, in the last 7 years, I have played basically just one opponent. I don't even know what sites are running what. I know GG's the biggest now. They seem like they have a great thing going on over there. I know America's Card Room has a lot of action if you play in America. Seems like a pretty good place for you to sign up here. Really, the choices are endless. Maybe you want to play on these unlicensed app games. What am I going to tell you? I've never even downloaded an app for poker, I think. I digress. The user goes on to put together a pretty compelling case, putting in some hands you can download, I think. I'm not going to download those. And showing you some aliases and encouraging you to verify and draw your own conclusions. He goes on to say that the bot farm evolves every 3 months, but still employs exploitative tactics, allowing to push back. They have all kinds of screen names here. So we can see a list. The green are active, the red are inactive. And we can see a full list here of all green type B bot farm. Maybe there's 2 farms. It's possible there's rival gang bot farms on ACR. So what's the bottom line here? We got a lot of money being won from the player pool using alleged bots. And the question that I have to ask here is, what is the solution? Because it seems like this is a game of whack-a-mole. We find some bots, we ban them, or the sites ban them, and then they employ new tactics to get around it. Long run, what are ways that we can try to protect people? And another question that I'm starting to even wonder here is, do people even care? That's sad to say. I mean, I know a lot of people care. Online community cares. Good players care. But bad players, they seem to not care if the rake is ridiculous. They seem to not care if the game is on the up and up. They seem to not care if there are bots in the game, or people are using assistants, or if people can see the cards. I'm getting to a point where I feel like, as the breaking news guy that covers scams, are you still out there? Are people still watching? I mean, I can see people are watching, but do people even care? I'm starting to feel jaded, friends. I have some proposed ideas though. So I'm going to put online and live in the different buckets. And I think about online poker. I really do believe we need to try and embrace game types that make it more difficult to cheat. I don't know if that would be popular though, right? Like, let's just say, for example, you played a tournament where every hand, the ante was variable and it could be really big or really small. Would that change things? It would make botting harder, not impossible. Eventually that might get solved too. The only real long-term solution is to constantly change game types and rules and make it as difficult as possible for people to use software. I'm sure there's some mechanics of the game that we could maybe add in to make it more complicated that beat the bots. Question is, does the average player want that? So I'm tempted to say no. And I think that really the long-term solution here is sites have to allocate an incredible amount of resources towards protecting their games. I think that we need to, as a community, try and support the sites that do that. And we also need to recognize it is difficult. I think just because we're covering these stories about this on ACR or about the GG poker thing, that doesn't mean that these guys are acting maliciously or even not trying to prevent these things. But the reality is we need better protection here. And I don't know what the solution is. I just make videos on YouTube. I thought that was a wrap, but not so fast, my friends. We have some breaking news, an official statement by ACR CEO Phil Nagy on the alleged botting incident. I want to clear the air about social media buzz regarding concerns about a potential poker bot issue on our network. After contacting our security team, I learned that we'd already reviewed all 368 players mentioned in this report. After investigation, over half were cleared of misconduct. Many accounts have already been closed prior to receiving this report in June, and a number have been closed due to inactivity and failure to respond to our security team. A small percentage had failed our game integrity protocol, which we will be refunding affected players in our next batch of refunds. Let's break this down for a second here. So, obviously when we look at something where there were 368 accounts, I do think it's important for us to recognize that these are all separate accounts, and just because they're compiled together doesn't make it one person, doesn't make it one bot ring. Again, could be rival bot rings. And it's possible some of these names are people just getting swept up kind of innocently under this same group because they have maybe a similar play style to how these bots play. Now, it's also clear to me that a lot of these accounts are bots. So I'm not saying that that number should be 50 or should be 200 or should be 300. I have no idea, right? I'm sure someone will break this down more nitty gritty, but we shouldn't jump the gun and assume that all of these are bots. Half of them were cleared of misconduct. Now, I guess you could argue, does that mean that ACR is just not good at catching these guys? Or does that mean that a lot of them aren't bots? I'm sure that it's going to end up being somewhere in the middle. And they do also acknowledge that a small percentage did fail the game integrity protocol, and they're going to refund those people. So lots of good steps here. I do think that it would be a little worrisome to see over half were cleared of misconduct if this is a large-scale botting issue, which does kind of seem to be the case, but some good stuff here in this response. Moving on. We highly value player feedback and actively investigate every reported security concern. We recognize that we haven't always been able to communicate quickly and publicly, something we are now working to be better at. We've made massive progress in eliminating bots on the network. Both commercial and non-commercial bots no longer support us, which is a testament to the significant enhancements in our bot detection capabilities. One quick note there. If non-commercial bots no longer support you, why would you have any bots at all, right? I mean, I guess maybe they mean some specific non-commercial bots, but if you have bots, they're either commercial or non-commercial. So this should probably say some bots, or maybe the most common bots. A little nitpicky, but the point remains. We continuously update our poker clients to prevent bots from accessing necessary data to run on our network. While I can confidently state that we don't have a bot problem, that one hurts a little bit. That one hurts a little. I don't think you want to say this. Look, I've definitely had my own PR issues, but how can you say we don't have a bot problem when we're looking at hundreds of bots? I mean, maybe it's 50 or 100 or 200. I don't know. I guess it does matter how long these accounts are open, but let's just assume that half of these games are bots. I mean, you got hundreds of thousands of entries of bots. It's a bot problem, I mean, just because you don't think that it's systemic and maybe it's a smaller percentage of play doesn't make it not a bot problem. That would be like saying GG Poker didn't have an issue where people could see equities with the cards and know what to do, right? Because it was one person, maybe. So I do think that it's a little bit daft to say that you don't have a problem at all. But moving on. New challenges do face our industry, such as real-time assistant, that we must all work together to deal with. It's true. Here's a snapshot of some of the newer security initiatives we've released. 1, fighting RTA. We are now in partnership with GTO Wizard. We are now enable players and our security team to scrutinize hand histories and their lookup timings, helping to detect and prove RTA. It's a good thing to do. 2, launched the ACR reshuffle option for our Omaha games. Talked a bit about that earlier. There's an innovative step to combat collusion and card sharing by reshuffling player cards after folding. And I do want to say, the reshuffle thing, if you're not familiar with it, it is a little bit confusing for people because it does change the game, right? When you look at how you're supposed to play and people fold, you factor in that those are typically worse cards. So it does change the game of Omaha. And I saw some regs complaining. Get over it. It's better for the game so that you can prevent some of these things that people can use to cheat. And yeah, the game will be different. Just learn the new thing, man. Like, I think one of the things that tilts people, especially, business owners like myself, when you don't have nearly the amount of time to study that you used to have, if you're a regular, you have tons of time to look up these things. I know that it might hurt a lot of your prior work, but you're going to have to just figure out how to adjust to that. You still have a lot of time to be able to focus and study and learn and improve. So I think anything that we can take that steps just towards making it harder for people to cheat is a good thing. Personal opinion, but what are you going to do? 3, we've banned virtual machines completely. 4, banned third-party communication tools. 5, improved our security protocol for players under suspicion to include mandatory player documentation updates, a recreation of video recorded sessions of them playing for pattern evaluation, and a deep dive of a hand and play history across all games. This is a relatively comprehensive list. It does depend how aggressively they try and implement some of this stuff, because some of these are a little bit vague, but all of these are good things. I want to put out there that WPN is more than willing to partner with other sites to share security threats and innovations to improve poker security for everyone. If we want our industry to thrive, it's time we all work together and ensure players from around the world feel safe no matter where they play. This is an open invitation from Phil Nagy, WPN CEO. All in all, I think this is good, and I do think the ACR has actively been trying to battle this problem for a long time. I do think that Phil cares. I do think that he's trying. It's tough because I think when you look at the landscape nowadays, you look at guys like WPN, you look at guys like GG Poker. I think those are two sites where they really are trying to do their best to ensure fair play. It's just really tough to do so. And obviously very different issues here. This is a bot issue. That was a coding issue or just like a security of the site issue. But these are complicated things, and it's tough for these sites to really crack down everything to 100% accuracy. And so I can understand where they're coming from on that. But I still do have to say, this has been going on for a number of years where you got to get a handle on your game's ACR. I mean, Joey, again, been complaining about this for so long. You need to find a way to really make it difficult for bots. Can we do something that's more aggressive? I mean, man, I don't know what it would be, like having to have a webcam for some period of time in order to play if you're even remotely suspected. Or I know there's CAPTCHAs that make it difficult for bots. I know humans are going to be there. Look, I haven't thought about this long enough. I don't want to say what people should be doing. But I do think when you have this number of bots playing, you got to find a way to get to a solution. Couple other interesting pieces of information here as I give you the good news in my PJs here in the early morning hours Central Time. There was a statement issued by ACR Poker with this offer. Let's go ahead and take a look.
I'm going to offer $100,000 and a job with WPN if anybody, the first person that can make a bot and make it operate on WPN, make it operate for 5,000 hands and show us. If you can make a bot, put it on WPN and make it operate for 5,000, bring it to us, show us, we'll give you $100,000 on the spot and we'll give you a job. First person to do it gets this deal. The gauntlet's laid down. I believe that our security is very good. I believe we do a very good job. I don't think anybody can create a bot that's going to break our security, but we could be wrong.
Alrighty, so the gist here is that they are saying they are offering $100,000 and a job at ACR if you can successfully bot for 5K hands on their site. I've got some real mixed feelings on this one. On one hand, the idea that you incentivize people to try and break code or break through something or get around a system with a financial incentive is something that has been used successfully in the past. It reminds me of crypto. They'll offer like bug bounty kind of rewards, or if someone can break code, then they'll win some kind of prize, and it makes your code stronger. But is that good in a players playing on a site perspective? I could see this sending some mixed messages. Are you a down on your luck developer? Or maybe you're a bot owner whose current site's just not getting the job done. Well, head on down now to ACR, introducing our new bot program where anyone is welcome to try and create bots to win money off our players. That's right, sign up today, and if you get through just 5,000 hands, we're going to send you $100,000 and a job at our site. If you can figure out a way to cheat us, we're happy to pay you. We'd love to see you over on America's Card Room. We don't have bots here. Also, please stop after 5K hands. Please. All joking aside, I get that they're trying to do something good here, and it's something, right? They're putting their money where their mouth is. You can respect that. Don't know if this is the messaging I would go for. Maybe a little more reiterating that bots are against the terms of service and we're going to ban you and confiscate your money. So I don't know if this is the right training ground. But either way, I do understand that they are trying to do something positive, although I think this one's a bit debatable. While things might look bad for ACR, it's not all bad news. There's some pretty compelling evidence that the situation isn't nearly as bad as we might think. One piece of evidence showing that is Matt Berkey saying that this is looking grim. I mean, when's that guy been wrong about anything?
I'm not good at Hold'em at all. I'm not studied in this format one bit.
Had to do it. Had to do it. One more follow-up story, a tweet from Lucas Beliza, PLO5 over on Twitter, tweeted showing a bot farm where people had all of these computers set up and all these different tablets that you could use, all these different chairs you could use, all these different phones, all these different things. And this just shows you how dire things can be if it's left unchecked on sites or apps that allow for this kind of business. I mean, I've said it so many times here, I don't even know what more I can say, guys. If at this point you're like, I think I should play some apps, this is a great idea. All I can tell you is good luck, and you need active security to have any resemblance of a fair game online. But I'm sure your app is totally fine. That's what everyone always tells me. Oh yeah, apps are bad, but no, I have a great one. It's a great game. I won there. Okay, well, someone's not winning. And it's not this guy with 10 phones. I think he's doing fine. That's going to be a wrap here at Poker News Studios. Thank you for tuning in for today's video. We have a balanced array of content here, like scam videos and other scam videos, because when I analyze a hand with ranges, no one watches. So we're going to be covering who gets cheated where and for how much. I'll see you guys indefinitely whenever someone loses a bunch of money to some kind of theft. Oh, actually, before I go, I've started doing YouTube shorts on Instagram and on YouTube. If you guys could turn on notifications and check out what I'm doing there, give me some tips, give me some feedback, give me your thoughts. Not my normal content type, but I've been given a swing of the bat. So let me know what you think about it in the comments below, how I could improve it, trying to hone my craft. That's it from me. I'll see you guys again soon. What a wonderful existence here on YouTube we have. Peace.